I only have 11 subscribers, and they're all kids from this school, so I'm not going to become Sal Khan anytime soon.
I'm honestly disappointed you didn't call your channel Math Keeps High, like 3.14.
Okay. like Math Depot, but Math Defy.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Like, I'm honestly so disappointed.
Okay. All right.
I was really proud of that.
So everything we've dealt with so far has been equations, meaning that there's been an equal sign, but now we're going to start talking about inequalities, meaning instead of using an equal sign, we're going to start using less thans, greater thans, less than or equal to's, or greater than or equal to's. For the most part, for right now, we're going to leave those the exact same way that they were. For the most part. There's going to be a few small exceptions to it once we get to Friday. For today and tomorrow, though, we're going to leave it pretty much exactly as it was. Kind of, sort of? Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. You can tell I'm recording if you see these thingy things up here. I can kind of move them around too. That's going to be really jarring for anybody who watches this. Okay. So an example of a simple inequality. I'm going to go really, really simple at first just to show you guys how it looks. So let's do, let's see, variable I'm thinking of today is going to be b. Let's do b plus 8 is greater than or equal to 7. All right. So for the most part, you're going to treat the inequality, which is this thing right here, you're going to treat this the exact same way that you would an equation for the most part. There's going to be some exceptions to it that we're going to talk about on Friday. But to solve this, you would solve it the same way as if it were an equal sign right here. And so to do that, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I'm going to minus 8 from both sides. Minus 8, minus 8. And over here, plus 8 minus 8 is going to turn into what? 0, so I just have b on the left-hand side. And then what's 7 minus 8 on the right-hand side? -1. Cool. And then I'm just going to drop this sign down exactly as it was. So alligator or Pac-Man or however you learned it wanted to eat this side before. It still wants to eat this side. And then it's greater than or equal to. All right, cool. There's just an extra step with this, though. And the extra step is when you're dealing with these, you're going to have to graph them as well. And what graphing them entails. And I don't know if you did this last year or not. I'm going to pretend you didn't, and if you did, I'll be pleasantly surprised when you know how to do it. I'm not even going to ask if you did or not. So graphing them, what that entails is you're going to have a number line here. And our number line, I'll have 0 in the middle. And we're going to go up a few places. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go down a few places. -1, -2, -3. So this right here, -1, this is my point of interest. I'm going to call it point of interest. I'm going to put a dot at -1. And I can put it right on the line if I want to. I like to put mine above just so I can kind of see where everything is. So I'm going to put a dot at -1. Now there's a few things I need to kind of explain about that dot here. So kind of off to the side, I'm going to explain a few things about that dot. If your inequality, this thing right here, if your inequality is less than or greater than, then your dot is going to be open, meaning it's not filled in. So this dot that goes here, if it's less than or greater than with no line underneath it, no or equal to, then your dot doesn't get filled in. It stays open. And I'll explain what that is in just, or why that is in just a second. If your dot is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, then your dot is colored in. And I'll explain why that is in just a second. All right? Kind of, sort of? You with me on this so far? It will be, and that's why I'm going to explain why I'm going to color it in right now. So this one here is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to check, should this dot be colored in or should it be left uncolored? Right. And so before I color it in, I'm always going to ask myself, should I color it in or should I leave it open? And that's what I call it when it's not colored in. I call it open. So should this one be colored in or should it be open? Great. So I'm going to color it in right now. So color it in. All right, cool. Now there's another part to this. And I'm going to explain where both of these parts come from in just a minute. So for right now, just kind of bear with me for a second. Or grizzly with me, or cat with me. Hashtag math teacher jokes, sorry. Okay.
Well, he finds funny is suspect.
Exactly, I'm a math teacher. What I find funny is suspect. Okay, so the next thing is, with an inequality, I'm looking for all the numbers b, so all the numbers that I could put in here that are greater than -1, right? So, Cade, give me a number, any number at all, that's greater than -1.
30.
Perfect. So on a number line, is 30 on the right-hand side, Cade, of this dot, or is 30 on the left-hand side of this dot? It's on the right-hand side, right? Okay, Nathan, give me another number that is greater than -1.
2.
2. Is 2 on the right-hand side of this dot, or is 2 on the left-hand side of this dot?
Right.
Is 2? Yeah, 2's on. Yeah. Remember this whole thing? One of these makes an L and one of them doesn't. It's okay. It's okay. I had to do that until I was like 18 sometimes. Be like, which one is this one? Okay. All right. So you're going to make an arrow that points to all of the numbers that are greater than -1. And in this case, all the numbers that are greater than -1 are in this direction, to the right. And so there's more than one answer to this. 0 is an answer, because 0 is greater than -1. 1 is an answer. 2 is an answer. But there's also a bunch more. Like 2.1 is an answer. 2.23567 is an answer. Exactly. 3.14159265835 is an answer. 1,037,000,037 is an answer. All of those numbers are answers to this equation, or this inequality, because they're all greater than -1. Yes, -0.9 is an answer because that's greater than -1. Any number, even -1 itself, is greater than or equal to -1. That's why I color it in, because if it's equal to, it's greater than or equal to. That's why the or is there. Whereas if it has to be strictly greater than, not or equal to, then the number itself isn't considered a solution. Does that make any sense? Kind of, sort of? All right. So let's take a look at one that's a tiny bit more complicated, and I'm going to throw a little bit more of a wrench into it. Well, actually, no. Before we do that, let me give you guys an example I want you guys to try on your own, and then we'll throw some wrenches into the works. All right. So I'm going to write an example down here I want you guys to try on your own. I'm going to come around and check. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something nice and simple. Let's do x minus 12 is less than or equal to 10. Actually, no, let's not do 10. Sorry. Let's not do 10. Let's do x minus 12 is less than or equal to negative 14. And then I'm going to draw a number line here because you're going to need to graph it too. So we're going to put 0 in the center. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 on the right-hand side, -1, -2, -3 on the left-hand side. So I want you to solve this, and then I want you to figure out what kind of dot it should have, put the dot on the graph, and then decide if the arrow should go to the right or if the arrow should go to the left. So give it a try. Raise your hand when you think you've got it. I'll come around and check. Okay. Nice job. Perfect. Nice job. Perfect. But other than that, it's going to be right. And it should be colored in. Perfect. Should be going this way, because you can put the things that are left there. Did you scale it?
I hit my nose. Yes. What?
All right, cool. So not too bad. I thought I'd throw more of you off than I did, so that's awesome. So in this one, you're going to add 12 to both sides, so plus 12, and then from here you've got, this cancels out, you've got x is less than or equal to negative 2, and then to graph that you find negative 2 and you put a dot there, and then you look at your little key and you decide if the dot should be filled in or if it should remain open, and should it be filled in?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to fill it in. And now from here, you need to decide if your arrow should go left or right. Now I'm going to show you guys a secret with this. Most of you got this just right, but it's not super easy, so I totally understand if you don't understand how to decide if the arrow goes left or right. I'm going to show you guys a secret. Now, this secret and this trick only works, what are you doing?
I dropped the little ink thing.
For my hand.
It's behind you. Okay.
Whoa. It teleported.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's more likely than it rolled.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a secret. Now this secret only works if the variable is on the left. So if the variable's on the right, you have to do a tiny extra step, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But if the variable's on the left, whichever way this is pointing is the way your arrow needs to point. So right now, this is pointing to the left, so your arrow needs to point to the left. So this right here would look like the head of the arrow you're going to draw on your line. But that only works if x is on the left. If x is on the right, it won't work. Okay? Yeah, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay? In mere moments, actually, like not a second, in an amount of time more than 1 second, but less than like 2 minutes. All right. So let me show you what that looks like here. So let's do one that's like, okay, I gotta make this up off the top of my, oh no, oh, okay, let's do this. Let's do 10 is less than 3 times in parentheses. I'll move it up then so you can see. Let's do in the parentheses x divided by 2. Wait, no, sorry. I'm getting too complicated. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let me just take one from your assignment.
Find the most challenging one on the
I am.
assignment.
I'm doing
Okay.
that. I'm doing that. So let's do negative 48. I know. Holy cow. Numbers is less than or equal to 3 times in parentheses negative 9 plus k, close parentheses. All right. So now, this is just a tiny bit more difficult, and this is as difficult as it gets on the assignment. So I'm going to have to distribute the 3 times both things inside first. So I'm going to do 3 times negative 9 and 3 times k. So 3 times negative 9 is what? Negative 27. And 3 times k is, so I'm going to do plus 3k. I'm going to drop down this inequality exactly as it appeared. Pac-Man wanted to eat the right, so Pac-Man still wants to eat the right. And then I'm going to drop down negative 48. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now if I want to solve for 3k, I'm going to move the negative 27 to the other side. So how do I do that? So I'm going to add 27 to both sides. So plus 27, plus 27. So this cancels out. And then I got to figure out what negative 48 plus 27 is. Negative 21. Great. I'm going to drop this symbol down exactly as it was. And then I've got this turned into 0, so I've just got 3k over here. So my next step is to do what? Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So I've got negative 7 less than or equal to k. Now, variables on the right here. So, I could do what Annabelle suggested, which was to reverse my idea, but instead, I'm going to put the variable on the left, I'm going to put -7 on the right, and I'm going to remember Pac-Man wanted to eat the variable, so I'm going to redraw the symbol, so Pac-Man still wants to eat the variable, and the lines under it. So now, I only have to make sure that I'm following the arrow, and I don't have to try to remember any of this switcheroo stuff. You can. Be the change you want to see in the world, Cade. All right, now let's talk about graphing this. So, on your assignment, you have graphs on this, but say, for example, you didn't have a graph. You don't have to have a graph that goes from 0 all the way up to 7. This is my point of interest, -7. So I'm going to draw a graph that has -7 in the middle, and I'm going to go up a couple from there, and I'm going to go down a couple from there. Your assignment has graphs on it, though.
So you just have to...
Right, it'll already have it on it. So I'm just going to go up a couple from -7, which would be -6 and -5. I'm going to go down a couple, which would be -8 and -9. Now, when I put my dot here, should I fill it in or should I leave it open?
Fill it.
Fill it in, because there's the line underneath it. Now, here's a way that you can try to remember that. If there's the line underneath it, you have to use more ink to draw the line, or pencil lead. You have to use more lead to draw the line, which means you need to use more lead to fill this in. That's kind of a way that I've always tried to remember it. Now, because I've got my variable on the left, this points that way, so my arrow needs to point that way. So my arrow is going to go like that. Kind of, sort of? Well, yeah, it's because the refresh rate on the camera isn't great, so like if I do this, like it's super, like, I have to do it like slowly. Like I have to do... Yeah. All right. I'm going to pass out the assignment. Don't freak out too much. So this assignment looks a little long.
Probably only like 100 questions.
You're going to have... I'm not ending the recording just yet. You're going to have today and tomorrow to work on this. Tomorrow's a quiz day, though, too, so don't forget about that. Tomorrow's Thursday, which means it's quiz day. You will have time to work on this tomorrow, so this assignment isn't due until Friday. I know. Yes. If I wanted to be PewDiePie, I'd open every video with
Open up.
Hello, everybody. My name is...
Right, exactly. I'd be like, and then I do like bro fist.